Good morning. Welcome back to Freak Show Racing. I had plans today, but the amount of wasps that have built homes inside of that car is unreal. I can't say it any other. It's unreal. Hopefully this stuff will help some. But let me show you what we got going on today. Well, the kid said she could beat the car home. I guess she's winning. Alright, so one of the first orders of business. I don't even really know where to start with this car, but I guess we start at the front. I'm pretty sure that's what I've decided. So, here it is. Now, this car, when I daily drove it, it had a lot of evidence of front end collision. The whole core support was pretty much it was in pretty bad shape, so we ended up cutting it off. Now when we did that, we made this homemade brace, and it did its job, but I think it's time for something a little bit better. So that homemade brace we made, it did its job pretty well, but I think it's time for something better. So I got this box from PLM over here that has a nice tubular core support in it. Now this is the tubular upper core support for an EG Civic from PLM, and I got this on sale, and it cost me about $300. I think it was right at $300. It was on sale for having blemishes, which I have not seen. I've looked the whole thing over and I don't see any faults with it at all. I think it was just bought and then returned, which then allowed them to mark it down on their site. Alright, so that's gonna sit something like that. Now before I can put it on, I have to cut this old one off. But we're gonna sit somewhere like that. We'll see how it actually fits up once I get the old one off. Now to get the old one off, we have a few bolts holding this piece of the old bumper support on, and then we have some welds to cut from this old one being over here, and we'll cut it out and clean it up as best as we can before we start bolting the new stuff on. But if you wanted to see, this is some of the damage that I was talking about. If you look in there, you have some pretty good wrinkling, but it will be okay because the frame is still straight, and I will double check to make sure that the frame rails are straight before proceeding any further. How about that headlight? Yeah, that's what we ran for, a headlight. We had 2 of those with a factory housing slipped over them. But yeah, we have to get this off. We have to get this off, take this off and get that off, and then we'll make some new plates to weld over the frame and cap it off. But anyway, let's get started. Now that we got everything else out of the way, we can start cutting. And as a safety precaution, you should always wear gloves when you're using a grinder, but I always choose not to, because the only time I've ever come close to cutting myself or getting my, my fingers caught in a grinder with a cutoff wheel was when I was wearing gloves. But that being said, always cover your eyes, because tiny particles will fly up in there and you need to be able to see. You need your eyes. So at least wear some type of glasses to keep metal shavings out of your eyes. Alright, so I finally got it off. I got the old piece off. And now I got the little pieces of bars off. So now all I gotta do is clean up where this old weld was and drill out the spot welds on these pieces and take them off so I can plate that and cover it up. Clean up this behind here. Let's see. Clean that up so I can get that off, and then we should be good to install the new PLM radiator support. Then we should be good, but we gotta get all this old weld material off. Alright, I spent a lot of time with a flat disc and got this side pretty much how I want it. I just gotta drill through some spot welds on this and get it off so I can clean up the front, and then we'll make a plate to fill all that in, and we'll weld that plate up there. But I got all the old weld off of this and smoothed it out and made it flat. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so one thing that I found once I started taking what was left of the old original core support off. Check this out. I don't know if you can see in there, but both of these. Now, what those are, they're welded to the back side of this. So that's where you mount your traction bar or your tow hooks at. Those welds are prone to breaking. So if you ever take your core support off, just pay attention to see if your bolts are broke off. That side's good. Well, that side's missing one nut. And it's not inside the frame rail. So I'm not sure, I have to get a new nut to weld onto the back side of this. I'm gonna put these two back inside of here, and whenever I make the plates to cover this, I'll weld them back onto those holes. But now we are ready to put the core support, or the upper radiator support, back in. The new one. We're ready to put the new one in the top. So give me a minute and I'll show you what that looks like after it's put in. Alright, it is on. It's bolted here, here, and here, and here. It's pretty sturdy. It took a little bit of but it took a lot of work to get it to fit. But that isn't because of the way it's designed. The part probably fits perfectly on a car that is straight, that doesn't have metal damage like this. So I had to bend my inner fender. I had to bend it around and kind of stretch the metal to make it fit, or to make it line up, which is 100% because the car has been in several front end collisions before. But anyway, so that was just a quick, easy install video just to get this project started. So if you want to see more, bigger and better parts are coming. I have most of them already. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stick around to see the rest of the build.